Okay. Oh, wow. You showing off your socks already?
No,
That's
kicking.
how we're leading in?
I'm kicking.
Kicking what?
The shot.
Oh, wow. Well,
Where I kicked something.
Huh.
Bam!
That's interesting. Yeah.
All right.
How flexible do you think you could touch your toe to your nose?
Fuck no.
Just try. Let's see if you can try. How flexible are you these days?
It's not happening.
I feel like you could get pretty close.
You're just bullying me.
No, I'm not. That's not bullying.
You're just trying to lead me into the rabbit hole, into the snake pit. That's it. You're trying to bring me down to that snake hole. There's no way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What do I get if I could touch my nose to my toes?
A case of liquid death peach tea.
Nah, that's not enough.
You love it.
Yeah, but not that much.
5 cases?
What else you got?
$100.
I'm going to break myself for $100.
I don't know what you want.
I want you to be my assistant.
Okay. Oh, so.
In whatever it might be at the hangar for a weekend, 2 days. You are at my disposal.
I don't have time to even.
I mean, if you really want to see me go through this.
Okay, I'll help you at the hangar for 1 day.
2 days.
1 day.
Okay. I thought this would be easy.
You're closer on that side. You gotta bend your neck.
Wait a minute. I'm stretching.
I think you need to go to yoga more.
More?
Yeah.
How about just go to yoga?
Ever.
Ever.
Close, yeah. I wonder if I could do it. I don't have socks on, though.
Guess what?
No free feet pics.
You don't have to go to the hangar. You're safe.
Nice. Okay.
I really in my brain as I was saying that, I can do this because I can just bring my toe to my face.
Uh-huh.
And I can make this happen, but
you lost it.
I did.
You lost it. Well, I'm really excited for today's theme, so let's get into it.
Did I have to succeed for you to do it? Or did I just have to try to do it?
No, you had to succeed.
I did?
Yeah, that was definitely the deal.
I have to go back and listen to it. Because I really don't remember the deal.
Roll the tapes.
All right, let's go. What's the theme?
The theme today is getting control of the situation.
I like that.
Say hi to everyone, though. I guess we should.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Father Knows Something. And we are just excited about being here. Morgan's been working on the new studio.
So have I ever.
So if you just witnessed, she made me, unless she chopped it out, try to touch my nose to my toe.
No, that'll be in there.
Just so I can get her to come help me at the hangar for a day. I've tried for 2, but just to get 1. And she said, no deal, you didn't do it. But I have been at her disposal consistently for weeks.
Yeah. I mean, the new studio's part for you too. This is likely the last time we'll record a Father Knows episode at this house.
But it would be wonderful if you would come hang out with me at my hangout.
I'll help you for a half day. That's all I can give.
What do you guys think about that?
I am busy.
We want to see your comments that Morgan, has forget ever. I mean, I've had this place for 3 years. I think she's been there to help me. Never.
That's not
She's
true.
been there, but not to help me.
That's not true. I've helped you quite a bit.
At the hangar?
Mm-hmm.
With what?
Yeah.
Name one thing. She's got nothing, guys.
I did something.
She's got nothing.
When I have time to get a pedicure or a massage or any, form of Morgan time, that's when I'll say, you know what? I got a little extra tea in my cup. I can help out Dad at the hangar.
Guys, I really want you to comment on this one.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. So
let's get into this.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, enough of our nonsense.
Okay, this first story, don't feet fight me. My 13-year-old is out of control and I don't know what to do. To start with, my daughter has always been an amazing and sweet kid. She always did what she was told and got straight A's. She cared more about her grades than I did because I knew she gave it her all, and that's all I cared about. I divorced her dad when she was 8. He has on and off anger issues. For example, we would hear the garage door open. Me and the kids sat on pins and needles, worried about the mood he'd come home in. Overall, he treated my kids better than me, so I wasn't too concerned about giving him 50-50 custody. About 3 years after our divorce, he developed some intense health issues and was on and off different medications. About a year ago, due to medications he was on, he behaved terribly. I won't get into it, and I ended up with full custody. I felt bad having to change her schools, and worst off, she had to start middle school with no one she knew. Her grades started dropping, she started skipping school, and overall, she wasn't acting like herself. I took her to therapy, got her on suggested medications, and really supported her during times of bullying. I'm talking mom in a china shop to defend my daughter. It turns out she lied about major things, and in 2 months this summer, she stole my mom's car and my car and got caught stealing at Walmart. I was a wild kid myself, but I didn't do anything crazy until high school, and any one of these moments would have scared me straight. I found out about one of the car thefts from a call from a cop. I'm extremely worried as 2 run-ins with police in a span of weeks hasn't seemed to sway her. She is still in therapy and blames a lot of what happened on her dad, but at this point, I feel like it's an excuse that continued to work for her to get away with it. I have taken things away from her, grounded her. She even put a broken phone in her regular case to fool me so she could keep her phone. She sneaks in my room while I am asleep and took my car keys and my phone, and overall just won't behave. Every time I give her some privileges again, she does something major. Therapy isn't working. Nothing is working. I'm lost, devastated, and extremely worried about her future. What do I do?
You know, I went through some of these things with a 13-year-old daughter.
Interesting.
So I'd like just to hear your ideas because you've been here.
Yeah, I didn't get too wild though. I would say I was a little later, but obviously she's going through a lot of stuff. She's having a difficult time adjusting.
Do you think that her father did some effects that really affected her horribly? I mean,
absolutely. What can seem like a normal Wednesday to a parent can cause lifelong trauma for a kid. So
especially when they took away his rights to even have her for half the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, and probably for a very good reason, right?
Right.
But still, no matter, how justifiable the reason is to a kid's brain, I don't know. She's going through a lot. She's at that age. She could be going through puberty, mental health issues, this trauma from dad, not seeing dad, school, a new school, bullying. I mean, what isn't this kid dealing with? This is very, very challenging. Mm-hmm. At 13 is by far, it was one of the worst years of my life.
I remember it well.
It was terrible.
I
Girls
remember.
Are mean. It was terrible. And it doesn't get better. I mean, it circled again in high school.
I mean, you had even conversations that you didn't even want to, be around.
Yeah.
I mean, it hit you really hard at 13. So
yeah.
In the best case of scenarios, it's tough at that age.
Yeah. I think what saved me personally was horses. Mm-hmm. Anytime I was dealing with bullying at school, I'd come home and hop on my horse, and that sense of control, being able to saddle up my horse at 13 and ride down the road. Mm-hmm. I mean, that saved me. I truly don't think I would be here if it weren't for horses.
So it certainly sounded like more fun to go saddle up your horse than go saddle in mom's car.
Yeah. And, if I were you, I don't know what advice you've been given from therapists, but I feel like spending more time with her mm-hmm. is going to be so beneficial. Like, she's reeling, she's lonely, she's hurt. Go spend time, find a hobby together. The more you can keep her engaged in activities that are meaningful for her, the less she's going to be out there gallivanting around town and stealing your car keys. I mean, I don't know if there's horses near you, but I really, really think there's something powerful about the responsibility of a horse and being able to ride. I don't know. I love it. I'm a horse girl. Maybe she's not, but find something like that for her that gives her a sense of autonomy and control and is fun.
Reinforcement of the attention and the love that you have, rather than just telling her what she can or can't do, but really joining her.
Exactly. I think the more time you can spend with her, the better. And you're going to get met with eye rolls and mom, no, I don't want to hang out with my mom. Doesn't matter. If it's one day a week where you force her to go do something with you, it's one day a week. But I think overall, she'll appreciate it. She'll find maybe a new passion, and maybe it'll give you guys a bridge to bond over, because right now, whatever you've been trying isn't working. So it might be a little bit of an investment into a sport, a hobby, whatever, but it is going to be well worth it. And maybe you cut back on the therapy and invest into this other thing if the therapy isn't working. And I will say, like, obviously she's under the guidance of professionals, and I fully believe medication is great for so many people. But she is 13, and with her hormones and everything, like, a lot of the medications we're on, especially women, were tested on men, and the recommended doses are dosed for men that have a daily cycle. We have a monthly cycle. Our hormones are so different. She's going through puberty. So that might be something to talk to with her doctor and be like, hey, you know, things aren't working. Where do we go from here? What about, like, you know what I mean? So she's going through a lot, but your turn. I've blabbed on.
I thought I just said everything. I thought that was perfect. I did well on that one.
Why? Why'd you put me on the spot?
Because I knew exactly where we were going to go with it, because I'm your dad.
Did you?
I did.
I feel like I'm a little smarter than you sometimes.
There you go.
Any other thoughts?
I think that you said it all. And I don't think I could say it much better than what you just did. And,
wow.
And everything that you were there, I was just saying, just let it play. Let it play.
Ideal outcome. I want my daughter to be safe and not screw up her future. Additional info. I'm overwhelmed. I have a full-time job and I go to school part-time. I also have a 5-year-old. So I'm already spread thin. Their dad is doing better and takes them only on the weekends.
I think I don't want to keep reiterating the same thing, but you nailed it. The time right now that she really needs more full-on time with you, and to find something that you guys can do together, and a passion. And she'll get away from all that other crap. When you find whatever that magic place is where they go and they get into something that's constructive and not destructive, and they love it. It's amazing. I was watching I think we were watching it together last night or the night before, where a person vandalized some granite carvings of people. And the sculptor got a hold of the kids that did the vandalism and showed them how to cut stone and how to carve. And next thing you know, the vandals became the artists.
Very cool.
So you have to do the Jedi mind trick. And it's actually beneficial for both of you that you'll find something that you like to do together. And you and mom had horses. You did. I couldn't get any of my kids to go into my passion. My passion were my kids. So, but when I wanted to
Matt got a bike, though. You were very passionate about Harleys. And so Matt got a bike, and that was a big thing for you guys.
But we never, the bike. But the things license. That we really, my mechanical side, none of my kids really got it. Matt got it later, but Taylor now thinks that it'd be an idea if he could do some things. So
time to go back to Minnesota and have a mechanic boot camp.
Well, all the tools are here. You can come out here and have a mechanic boot camp.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that one, I would spend time with her and find the passion. I thought that was great, and just recognize in these minds something that is traumatic for them really can really get those wires crossed in their minds, and it just leads a tough time to a worse time, because a girl going through adolescence at 13 years old, those are, and as a parent, I'm not the only one that's going to say this, and Morgan, as a child, as a woman that went through it as a child, is not going to minimize it. It's horrible. It just is.
It can be really brutal.
Guys, my boys were different, but my daughter, man, it was dealing with a whole different script.
I don't know if it ever changes I don't know.
No, you're still every day, Dad. Every day.
Still going through it.
Every day is Dad.
It's tough.
But I love you.
Yeah. I will say too, as someone that got arrested for shoplifting at 16, not 13, I think 13, she might even get more of a pass than me. But here we are, I went to college and a doctorate in occupational therapy, and now with you guys every week. And I feel like,
and I have to tell you something, when she got arrested at 16 for shoplifting, she didn't blame herself at first. She blamed the store for arresting her. She hated them.
They illegally dragged me back in the store. You're not allowed to do that.
Did you illegally take their stuff?
They violated my rights.
Did you illegally take their stuff?
Hey, they didn't get me on the beeper. All is fair.
It's not fair. It's
Fleet Farm. I think they can afford losing a horse halter and a camo jacket.
All right. I got to interrupt us moving forward for 1 second. We have to talk about character. This is a conversation about character.
I'm obviously kidding. I don't shoplift anymore.
I know. Hold on a second.
But sometimes the man deserves to be
2 months ago, I went to your Home Depot and I went and bought tools. And I had to buy some other components, drill bits and screw bits and things to work with it. And I realized when they cashed me out that under a piece of paper, they didn't cash me out for these extra probably $30 in screw bits. And I got to the car and I go, I bet you they didn't charge me for that. And I looked and I was already gone. And I said, what am I going to go? I got to go back there and pay him for this. And so I literally later went back and I got those same tools. I put them in my cart and I ran them through the thing. And I said, now go put these back on the shelf. She says, no, I got to give you credit. I said, no, I forget. You guys didn't charge me the last time I took them. In my brain, I felt guilty about taking them.
Yeah, you got integrity.
And that's what we're talking about here, integrity.
Yeah. Okay, moving along.
All right, let's go.
Hello, FKS fam. Firstly, I wanted to tell you all how much I appreciate all of your shows. You are all so insightful, hilarious, and it feels like being around the dinner table with my found family. Now on to my write-in. I am a 27-year-old female, and I am very, very close to my older sister, 30 female. Last year, she got married, and it was the most beautiful wedding. My sister is a lesbian, and it was a joyful celebration as she had struggled with her sexuality for years. I love my sister-in-law, 29 female, with all of my heart. She is so kind and caring and generous, and their relationship is so beautiful. Fast forward to this year. At the start of this year, my sister-in-law started to get really sick. I won't go into too many details, but after a long medical struggle, including a few emergency hospital visits, she was diagnosed with a chronic illness that means she can't currently go into work in person and needs a lot of rest. This alone would be bad enough. However, she struggles with her mental health, and having to be inside for several months has triggered a manic episode. She ranges from being mildly incoherent to being outright nasty to loved ones, snapping at people and calling them names. My sister, who suffers with chronic pain and her mental health too, has become her full-time caregiver and is really struggling. My sister-in-law's parents help out however they can, but they are older and can't take care of her that hands-on. So me and our mom have taken turns to go and help out as much as possible. I'm really worried about them both and their marriage. My sister still absolutely adores her wife, but has described the feeling of having the love of your life there with her, but not being able to reach her. The advice I'm seeking from you guys and potentially listeners is, how do we help her get through this? It feels so helpless and out of my control, and it's heartbreaking seeing how much my sister is struggling. Ideal outcome? I just wish I could at least help my sister take the load off a bit. She's dealing with working full-time and being a live-in caregiver, and the mental health services are outright ignoring them and acting like everything is fine. She's finding it hard to cook, clean, and walk their dogs, and I live a ways away and I don't drive. Additional info: they live in a very nice neighborhood and get along with their neighbors, but don't have many friends in the area who could help. My mom lives an hour away, so she is able to go to them pretty regularly and help, but she has a puppy who at the moment, sister-in-law is not keen on, so she can't often stay the night. My sister's friends have put their money together for her to have a spa weekend soon, which is so, so kind, but I fear she won't go because she finds it hard to be away from sister-in-law at the moment. Sister-in-law has a brother who hasn't been helping at all, even though he's capable of doing it and does have a car. My mom keeps saying she wants to call him out and try and get him to come, but my sister is nervous about upsetting him.
So they don't say that this is something that can get better. We don't know we don't know what's going to happen far as health-wise with the sister-in-law.
Correct.
It's better for worse.
Yeah, it unfortunately can become the reality for a lot of couples. I mean, disability, chronic illness, it's bound to affect one person out of two in a household.
And I certainly know when it gets to the mental thing, and I've had a few relationships that some of the women that I with had to have chemical balance and help. And it's
Don't
real.
we all?
It's real. It's real. And if you're out of balance, it really does make things
I mean, it's the
crazy.
Chemistry in your brain. It's just...
And sometimes, people get to feel great and they go, well, I don't need this anymore. And then they go off of it. And about 2 months go by. And the next thing you know, the person that you love is getting abused because they're the ones that are closest to you. And that they expect you to know, at this point, not to piss them off or what, and
you just never know what the trigger is.
And
too.
everything's getting triggered, and it's impossible. I mean,
yeah, it's very, very difficult to deal with.
So, I feel for her.
Yeah.
I really do. And it's most important that they work with the medical community, whoever she's working with, to try to help them get these things balanced and get it where she can live, because all you want is people to be able to live without pain, emotional or physical pain. Either way, I mean, pain is pain.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you guys are all kind of doing what you can.
Mm-hmm.
And your sister does need to take that respite care. I mean, caregiver burnout is so real. And obviously she has guilt leaving, her wife at home or treating herself maybe to a spa day when her wife is at home struggling. But she needs to recognize that in order to help her wife, she also needs to help herself sometimes.
She needs to be healthy.
She needs to be healthy. She needs to be rested. She needs time to herself here and there to recharge. We all do. So doing that is going to ensure you can be a caregiver and help your wife get better.
Didn't she also say that part of this issue is that her sister-in-law has been inside the house for so long?
Yeah. So there's a chronic health condition now. Didn't go into detail out of respect, I assume. So we're not sure what it is. And then being in the house for, months because of the chronic illness has now triggered some mental health stuff.
Right.
So, it could be a magnitude of things, whether it's lupus, MS. I think, there's a bunch of reasons she could need to be on home rest, essentially. But even, MS, like say you were diagnosed and you're having a big flare up, you don't want to go in the heat. Heat can exacerbate it. Really, really tough. But, something that might benefit her is, I don't know, like getting a little kiddie pool and putting cool water in it and ice cubes. And, when it cools down in the afternoon, going outside for a little bit. You got to do something to avoid going stir crazy. So there might be little things like that. But I think also she's finding it hard to cook, clean, walk their dogs. If you can take public transport and get to her every other week to help, that'd be amazing. If you want to send a meal kit or some hot meals from somewhere, that would be helpful. I mean, and it doesn't have to be so money involved. Calling, hey, how's it going? Talking, FaceTiming with the sister-in-law to distract her a little bit, doing a puzzle over FaceTime together. I mean, there's so many things you could come up with, but taking some of that off your sister's plate obviously would help, even if it's just FaceTime.
I wonder what the games they really have that's been designed to work on with, like FaceTime and
so many
that are out there that they can do it and they can sit in their, the respective places and they can still interact and, help with that? I have no idea.
There's so many now.
Do you? Have you seen any of them? Like Catan, online?
Yeah, they could play Catan. I mean, there's so many. They could even watch like a Netflix together. There's an app, or within the app, you can start the movie at the same time and watch it together and then chat. Like, there's so many things you can do to be together, but remote. And I think COVID did encourage a lot of those things to pop up. So look into those. It does get better. I really, really would love the community to pipe in for this one. I know there's so many that I see in the comments on other stories about you yourself have a chronic illness or family, and any tips for our writer would be so amazing. And if you want to write it as if it's to the sister-in-law or the sister, that would also be amazing. And our writer could maybe compile the best ones and share.
And if you have any questions for her, maybe she'll read the comments and you can actually answer chime in and answer some of those questions so people can give you a better, direction. Because I know it's kind of tough for us to even go down that road without knowing a lot more. But we're trying to just be more general and just give ideas.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, so we're going to say moving along, and let's try number 3.
And keep us posted. We want to be posted on all of these. So there's an update form in the description of all the shows, the YouTube. So put it there. Thank you. One of this week's partners is Gabb. Do you guys remember when you first got access to the internet and all of the crazy things you would look at or look for? I do, and they were very inappropriate for how old I was. You got to be careful what you give your kids access to, which is where Gabb is going to come in. Gabb is the leader in safe smartphones and watches for kids, teens, and tweens. It doesn't have any social media apps, no browser, and it has GPS tracking, so you're always going to know where your kids are and make sure they're safe. Your kid's going to love this phone or watch. There's unlimited talk and text and over 100 third-party apps that are installed at your discretion. I gave my niece Eloise one of these watches and she thought it was amazing. She gets to match her dad, who's got a smartwatch, and knows that she can call her parents whenever she needs them. So if you're ready to try it for yourself, this is the absolute best time to check them out, because right now, Gabb is offering $25 off any device to new customers with no contract required. That's $25 off any Gabb smartphone or smartwatch. Just go to gabb.com/FKS. That's where you'll get the best deal. That's Gabb, gabb.com/FKS. Gabb.com/FKS.
Read number 3.
Hi, Father Knows crew. I just wanted to start by saying how much I appreciate you guys. I'm a stay-at-home military spouse and full-time online student, so I'm able to listen to you guys all day long. It feels a little less lonely that way. Anyways, here's some relevant info before we get started. I am a 28-year-old female married to a 28-year-old male with a little boy of our own, 20 months. Our son is the center of my entire world, and I thank God for him daily. I'm originally from Washington State and have only recently started getting close to my mom and stepdad. I FaceTime with them 2 to 3 times per week, so it's safe to say we keep connected. Unfortunately, I deal with CPTSD, thanks to emotional neglect from my mom and narcissistic abuse from my bio dad. Today is the 3-year anniversary of me telling him to get fucked.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. And just a ton of chaos early on in life. Because of all of this, I've always bounced between being hyper independent and totally clung to a partner/friend. And I never developed a healthy understanding of relationships with others. I tend to go way overboard to earn a person's love or cut them off at the first sign of rejection. Now, here I am, states away from where I grew up with my husband and my kiddo. Don't get me wrong, my husband is my best friend. He does all he can do to support me and make sure I stay attending my therapy appointments. Even with all of that, I just feel so lonely and out of control. The military lifestyle makes it hard to create anything permanent, and I feel as though I'm constantly being flung from one thing to the next. I do my best to get out and be social, but it's really hard when there isn't reliable childcare. This, in turn, makes it harder to develop friendships. I found a few fellow crocheters here that I keep in contact with, but now that even feels as though it's slipping away. I was diagnosed with lupus earlier this year, and the pain in my hands, wrists, shoulders is getting progressively worse. I still have about 2 weeks until I finally see a room, but that will just be the beginning. I don't know. That was all a bit of a ramble, and I'm sorry. I just feel like every ounce of control I have over my life is being pulled away by either the military or this disease. I am pursuing a degree in elementary education with a 4.0 currently in hopes of becoming a kindergarten teacher. But for now, I'm just buying time. With just about 18 months left in my degree, it feels like both forever and no time at all. Do you all have any advice? How can I start to feel more in control when I have none? Thank you for all that you do. Hearing you guys has really helped to heal some of the father wounds, and I appreciate it more than I can say.
She has a lot going on inside that mind. She did a major, presentation. So
that's how my brain feels. Like a little washing machine just getting rattled about.
Here's some of the things that, I was listening to.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the fact that you have your child that you love from here to the moon and it's your life. And I'm sure that I overread that statement. But be careful not to put a lot of pressure on your child for all your happiness within them.
Yes.
Keep it balanced as you go on. And I just want you, and I'm not saying that you do it, but I want you to reflect on that thought, just because it's going to be healthier for you and your child as they go on with age. That's number one. Number two, and it's tough to tell someone that's going through a lot of emotional stuff just to take a pause and breathe in and breathe out and not get overwhelmed with every bit of all this stuff. And I feel that you're overwhelmed with everything. The fact that what happened with your emotional side with your dad, what happened with the fact that you're living this Army life, which I cannot relate to at all because I've never lived there. I mean, the only Army life that I lived was my dad came out of Patton's Army with post-traumatic, and he ran our household like the Army. But that wasn't really living the Army.
Mm-hmm.
It was living his version of it. So I know that you have a lot of these different dynamics. And how do you find a way out of all that? I think you just have to find something that you like to do yourself where you can back away and tune everybody kind of out for a little bit to find your own time to do something that you see your own success with it. Other than obviously success that you have with your child and raising your child, but you still have to find something that is recreational for you that you can just get away from all of it for a little bit.
Well, and I think that's where the crochet comes in.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like such an amazing passion hobby to have.
Look at my mother.
Exactly. But the lupus and the joint pain is causing that to become more difficult, not engage, all of that, which is where your OT comes in.
And by the way, Jonathan has lupus. So
yeah.
I do get lupus a little bit.
Yeah.
But it affects it affects everybody.
It's systemic.
Everybody differently.
Yes. Very, very, very different. But you do not have to give up crocheting. You can keep on with it. There are so many different types of adaptive equipment for crocheting. One of the big ones is they have enlarged grip needles or hooks. So the bigger your grip is around a tool, like the more built up it is, the less force you need to hold it. And it actually is better for your joints. So there's adaptive handles, hooks, needles, whatever you call those things. There's also crochet looms where you don't necessarily need to be so intricate with your hands. There's a loom that you can wrap the yarn and whatever around. There's so many different adaptable pieces for crocheting for people like you. I mean, it's for people with arthritis or, joint conditions. So you can find.
Is that all inflammation that goes on was causing the joint pains?
Yeah, I mean, it could be inflammation, swelling. It could be total destruction of the joint. I mean, I'm not super familiar with the way lupus breaks down your joints. I know my grandma had rheumatoid arthritis, and I think a lot of it is kind of the same. It's autoimmune, so it just depends on how your body is attacking itself. But there are so many different tools out there. So start going on Amazon. If you literally search like crochet loom, a bunch of things pop up. Crochet adaptive tools, a bunch pops up. I know there's like finger tools, so you don't have to like hold the string. It can like loop through that. So many. But I think that is a great thing. Like find something that you do have control over, and maybe you look into something else. Like again, here we go with the horses. Oh fuck. I'm on my horse girl shit today.
I think all these different things should all involve
Everyone
horses.
get a horse.
Everyone get a horse.
You get a horse. You get a horse. So I worked at like an equine therapy facility for a little bit, and there was a woman who had fibromyalgia. It's basically, they can't explain it. They don't really know the pathology for it. It's one of those things that's just like, it is what it is. It happens. They don't know why yet, but it's total body pain. Like your nerves, everything feels like it's on fire, total pain all over. And I had a patient who came out every week to ride the horse, and she said, this is the only thing that works for my pain. There's something about horses. And if you have, a lot of pain in your hips, spasticity in your hips, CP, conditions like that, the horse's walk actually mimics the natural movements of your hips. So it's really good for loosening you up, or spasticity, joints, pain, things like that. So maybe check out horseback riding or other hobbies. I would also see if there's groups, like your husband's in the military. I'm not sure if you live on base or not, but you probably live by one at least. There's probably a lot of other women, partners who are struggling as well, like that want friends. I know there's a Facebook group for my neighborhood that everyone kind of posts about meetups and things like that. Maybe there's a Facebook page for families.
Community.
You need a sense of community. You have so much amazing, amazing stuff going for you. You have a beautiful kid. You have a supportive partner. You're starting to get your health under control. You have a 4.0 and you have 18 months left of your program. You're going to blink and it's going to be over, and you're going to be a kindergarten teacher. You have so many amazing, amazing, amazing things going for you. Health stuff fucking sucks. Takes it out of you. I get it. But you do have such a full cup. So find little things that give you a sense of control, keep up with your therapy, and build up your sense of community. Even if you move and you made those friends and you move, it sucks. But some of those people, like, you're going to be lifelong friends.
Friends for life.
And every time you see each other, you pick right back up where you left off. And it could be one of those friendships. So start branching out.
Very good.
Yeah.
You're really doing I'm just nodding today.
I'm just fucking talking away. I don't know. Let's see how you do on this next one.
Number 4. Let's go. Let's see what happens.
Keep us posted. Another one of this week's partners is Hiya. I remember the vitamins I took as a kid, and they were basically candy in disguise. And my mom thought she was doing the right thing, making sure I had a multivitamin with all I needed in a fun character shape I would love. But the typical children's vitamin is filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that kids should not eat. That is where Hiya comes in. They have created a pediatrician-approved, super-powered chewable vitamin. It has 0 sugar, 0 gummy junk, and it actually tastes good, and your kids aren't going to know that it was made with 12 organic fruits and veggies, and then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals. They're going to have no idea. They're just going to think it's a nice, enjoyable little treat. Hiya is designed for kids 2 and up, and it's sent straight to your door, so one less thing you have to worry about when you're shopping. My niece and nephew are so lucky because they're my little guinea pigs whenever I get something like this, and they have since switched out their regular gummies for this one because it tastes so much better. If you're ready to try it for yourself, we've worked out a special deal with Hiya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/FKS. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to hiyahealth.com/FKS and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults.
I already know the answer for number 4.
What is it?
Get a horse.
Get a horse. Well, I don't know about this one. I don't know.
Get a horse.
My boyfriend's father is toxic.
Get a horse.
I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years, and I hate his dad. When I first met his dad and his wife, they were welcoming, but over time, I would get ignored when I said hi to them. His dad told me when I met him that if he's going to hate me in the long run, I should give him a reason to hate me now. It's been that way over the years. I try to keep my distance away from his dad. He's very manipulative and controlling. Our relationship never existed because all he does is talk shit about me and is an asshole to me. My boyfriend does defend me, but he's not willing to put boundaries up with his dad. Last night we had dinner because his dad wanted to have a conversation with us. To sum it up, he was an asshole. He said that he's concerned about our relationship. He said that his son works hard for everything in his life, and he's worried because I said I don't want kids now. He thinks I'm using my boyfriend and gonna hurt him. But I haven't done anything to even give him that impression. He continuously talks crap about me. He tries to input himself into my relationship when this man has never asked me about my family or my life in general. We've been together for 3 years and our parents haven't even met. After the dinner, me and my boyfriend fought and he told me our relationship is his dad's business. I don't know what to do anymore.
Wow, that just took the boundary right off of it.
I am beyond drained with his dad. I try to avoid him as much as possible, but I just don't want to deal with this anymore. I love my boyfriend, but I just keep thinking how it would be if we have kids together and get married. That sounds suffocating. What do I do? I've had multiple talks with my boyfriend about putting up boundaries, but he won't. When me and my boyfriend have plans and his dad knows about them, he will call my boyfriend because he needs help with something and purposefully will make him miss our plans. It's happened multiple times now, so can't be a coincidence. I've always come second to his dad because he sees no wrong in his actions. My boyfriend is saying his dad talking ill about me is his way of being concerned. I don't want to break up my 3-year relationship, but I can only take so much. Ideal outcome, my boyfriend putting up boundaries and realizing how his dad is affecting our relationship. Additional info, last night at dinner, he told me they want to work on our relationship, but I heard from my boyfriend's brother's girlfriend, he was talking ill of me again. It's a cycle. I told my boyfriend I don't want to be around his dad, and he forced me to go to that dinner. If I didn't go to dinner, we would have fought about that, and I'm tired of fighting about his dad.
You know, you already know the answer. You're just not willing to do it yet. But the reality is that there's only one direction you can go at this point, and that's DTD.
Run.
I hate, to say it so casually because I know it's not a casual thing for you to do. But, I have a friend that she was going out with these different guys. And I said, you know something? Every guy you describe as a boy, he's not a man. And, you're well in your 50s. And the guys you're going out with are, we'll say in their 40s. They were younger. Mm-hmm. I said, but they're still not men. They're boys. You need to go out with a man. And I'm going to say the same thing to you. You need to go out with someone that respects your relationship and holds it in a place that no one else is going to be able to have the ability of crossing the boundary and controlling. And if he's got that position with his dad that he's going to let his dad, guide you guys, who's your relationship with? The boyfriend, or are you having a dysfunctional relationship with the father, or dysfunctional with both? I mean, I see dysfunction. You've certainly tried to fix all this. You've done everything that you can. You've had conversations. You have tried to put the boundary up for with the guy's father. And if you were married, it doesn't get better.
No, no. This is 3 years deep, and it hasn't changed.
Yeah. How old is she? I didn't.
No
hear.
mention of ages.
So
no mention.
So my answer is, it's time for you to roll. Just roll down the road. Find, even if you're single for a while, it's okay. Singlehood is not bad.
Single is fun.
It just, you get to find yourself and define, more importantly, the things that are going to be important to you. And when you find that person come across with you that will fill those check boxes, it's going to be a better relationship, and you're going to grow a lot more because that person will grow. And right now, your whole relationship is not growing because he's not enabling that switch. He's disabled it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're 3 years deep now. this is what you got. You can't stay in a relationship based on, oh my God, if he put down boundaries with his dad and blah, 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 that potential, there's so much potential. You can't judge your relationship off potential.
Mm-mm.
You judge it on what you have today because likely it may not change. I mean, you've been going through this tug of war for 3 years. This is what you're going to get with him. He's got a very unhealthy relationship with his dad. His dad sounds very toxic, and it's just, this is what it's going to be. I mean, unless your boyfriend wakes up and becomes willing to set boundaries or go to therapy to evaluate his relationship that he has with his dad and why he might let his dad tromp all over him and his partner and blah, 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 it's not going to change. I think at this point in time, for you to get control of the situation, it's moving on.
When I know that when I talk to my kids, when I spoke to Morgan or anybody, Taylor, Matthew is, pretty much on his own and does his own thing. But I never tell my kids what to do. I give them a thought and say, here's a thought and, do you want to continue this way? And I say the same thing to you when I say DTD.
What does that mean for, people might not know what that means.
Oh, I mean, for the newcomers.
They might not even know what DTD means.
It's either dump the dude or dump the dame. It means it's time to move forward in your life. So I really want you to consider, as we've had this conversation, knowing your options. What happens if I stay here? What's at risk? Another year, 2, 3, 4 years of this dysfunctional relationship, or breaking up and having maybe a year or two, maybe a week or two, where you're by yourself and finding another person. It doesn't happen immediately sometimes. Some people are very lucky. They break up at 2:00 and by 3:30, they're in another relationship. At 5:30, they might even consider getting married. And some people,
It takes a little more time.
It takes a little more time. But
Yeah.
but sometimes it's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I went from a very serious relationship towards the end of college. Actually ended 2 weeks before I graduated or a week before I graduated. And after that, I was single for 3.5 some odd years, maybe even 4. I don't even know, until I met Justin. And those were some of the best times, focusing on myself, building my friendships, finding what made me tick was really good. And then when I met Justin, I was ready for Justin. I was there mentally. Took me a little bit to realize I liked him, but
sometimes I was told that relationships are really timing.
I think timing does play a part.
You meet a lot of nice people, but sometimes it's just the wrong timing.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about that saying. Like, it could be the right person, wrong time, because I do think if it is truly the right person,
then it's always the right time.
Even a wrong time, you'll find a way. If there's a will, there's a way. If he wants to, he will, that kind of shit. It's not here. I mean, you breaking up with him might give him the necessity to grow and be more independent. But as of right now, this is not healthy and it's not going to work.
So you saw the same immediate answer that I had.
Yeah.
That's why I'm your dad.
Yeah. Let's see about this last one we have.
Okay.
Another one of this week's partners is First Leaf. I never show up empty-handed when I go to a party. I went over to my friend Michaela's the other night and I showed up with a variety of beverages, including one of my wines from my First Leaf subscription. Let me tell you, I was a hit. I might be the drink girl at every game night going forward, which is an honor. To be recognized for bringing the best beverages, the best wine, wouldn't have been possible without First Leaf. First Leaf isn't your average wine club. It's better. With First Leaf, you get a personalized shipment of wine that's based on a quiz you take, what flavors you like, what parts of the world you want to explore, and you can completely tailor it. We got a selection of 6, and my favorite part, you get these little cards that talk about the wine, the flavor, so you feel like you're learning. As you sip, you're trying to find that aroma they describe or that flavor they put in. It's a great way to have a good conversation over a meal or just with friends, all while you're having amazing wine. Maybe even add an ice cube or two if you're feeling real wild. So if you're ready to try it for yourself, get wines to sip and share all summer long with First Leaf. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/FKS to sign up, and you'll get your first 6 hand-picked bottles for just $44.95. That's tryfirstleaf.com/FKS. Tryfirstleaf.com/FKS.
Here we go. Number 5.
Hi, Morgan, Justin, Jerry, and everyone else. You guys listening. I, 30 female, live with my sister, 35 female, and brother-in-law, 33 male. They have an infant, don't want to specify age, and all has been okay. My sister works the days, he works nights, not overnights, and I watch the baby throughout the week when I get home from work until my sister gets home. The issue is there has been multiple days where I suspected he is sleeping through the day and not tending to the baby. One day I came home and her onesie was on the ground. I picked it up and it was soaking wet with milk. The other day I came home and the bed was soaked with milk. It all boiled over when he wasn't waking up for work one day, and I found her lying in her crib, bottle in her mouth, propped on a blanket to hold it in place while he's sleeping. Very alarming, right? My sister talked to him and it was supposed to be solved. But today, before work, she was crying and he didn't wake up. So I go into the baby's room and she was in her bassinet and she had squirmed out of her swaddle and blankets were almost all of the way over her face. I called my sister and she had to leave work and she brought the baby over to my dad's, but it was a whole big deal. My brother-in-law then accused me of trying to take his daughter away from him and saying he's a good dad. No one said otherwise, and how she won't be going to my dad's, grandpa's, every day, and how I just don't like him. That's not even the case. He was putting ego and pride ahead of his daughter. That doesn't sit right with me. I get being tired, but when you know sleeping is an issue, why not even attempt to set things up to assist you? No alarm set. No speaking up to say he's tired so I can watch her while he catches up on sleep. Nothing. To leave a baby lying down with a bottle in her mouth is unfathomable. When someone's choking, they can't scream. He would never hear her. He doesn't know when she cries. And I assume it was most of the day. How could you think that's okay? I always try my best to mind my business and not say a peep and let them be parents, but the bottle incident could have killed her. He was being manipulative, trying to turn my sister against me and make me the bad guy. She wouldn't turn against me, though. I now feel very unsafe and scared. I don't know what to do, and my sister is in the same boat. I've barely been able to eat, sleep, and my anxiety is through the roof. All I wanted to do was ensure she is safe and has someone there to be attentive. You can't just plop a baby in a dark room while you sleep all day and expect it to be okay. She needs connection, attention, someone who can actively pay attention to her for development and well-being. If you can't take care of yourself, how can you take care of a baby? I don't know. I just need advice on what to do and any legal things I can suggest to my sister to set in place just in case this gets ugly. I want my sister and the baby to be protected. Sorry if some of this is jumbled up. I'm just so anxious. Thank you for any help you can give.
I have a thought, and it's actually a positive thought because, look, a lot of his behavior is just for lack of knowledge of really understanding what he's dealing with. New dad, whole new experience. So let's educate him. Rather than having him feel that he's being picked on and admonished like he's a child, let's try to get him to grow as an adult and as a father. So let's get video. Let's bring in some information that might be a documentary on the things that can happen in real life, that do happen in real life, by the abuse of not being there because you're tired. And, this whole thing is set up for failure. He is exhausted. That's why he's passing out. So
yeah, there's a bit more additional info I just kind of read through as you're talking. I think we should share it first.
Good.
Additional info. I can't move out at the moment. I'm going into my last year of grad school and I have pets, so I can't move on campus. And with my schedule, I cannot afford to do my courses, field, and work full-time for rent. Brother-in-law is in recovery. He has relapsed in the past. He works hybrid and was falling asleep at work when working from home. And it was scary as he wasn't waking up. And I asked if he was nodding off, since that's what it looked like, and it caused a whole big issue. I do have trust issues with him due to stuff regarding this in the past, but I have never spoke on it or tried to use it against him. He does have sleep issues that I know of, but I don't know him that well. My sister and him have been married under a year.
Well, there's definitely some issues that are physical issues.
I'm wondering if he actually needs to go and get a sleep study done and talk to a doctor about this. I mean, he could be dealing with narcolepsy. He could be dealing with some sort of sleep disorder.
Again, you went right down my road.
Sleep apnea even, where he's just not getting good quality restful sleep. And so he's tired nonstop.
So this all follows back into the theme where I was going.
Okay.
It's set up for destruction because there's a problem and we recognize the issue. And rather than trying to abuse the guy because of it, we should try to find the solution for him, that the times that he is with the child, that we know that he will be wide awake, or you're going to have to come up with a different scenario. Now, this is not your scenario. This is your sister's problem, because remember, this isn't your baby. It's your sister's baby. Now, you can give your concern, and rather than to say, he is not a good dad because he's fallen asleep and he's going to kill this kid because the kid is going to drown herself in the bottle, you really have to say, we all want the same thing, but this isn't a good answer until you can figure that one out with him. Tell me how I can help you, and I can tell you if I can be a part of that solution, or you may have to get some other people to help.
Yeah, I mean,
that's probably the better direction to go, because I don't think the guy wants to fall asleep on his child. I don't think he has the ability of controlling that at this point in time. And so since everyone's recognizing this issue, look, if I was driving down the street and I was falling asleep driving on the road and you heard me I was falling asleep.
We would take your license and evaluate why you're falling asleep.
I think you would say, Dad, I think there's an issue. Would you mind getting this checked? Rather than beating me up, you might want to offer it in a way saying, can we? And then if I said no, then you have a way of chaining me down.
Yeah.
But
I think there's a little bit of like twofold issues here though. Like, he's very clearly falling asleep.
Oh, there's no doubt.
But at the same time, he's planning his negligence, propping the baby up with a bottle and thinking, oh, it's going to be fine. And that's where I think it comes back into your initial point of he needs to be educated. You got to talk about SIDS. You got to talk about these things and show him the reality of what can happen. I mean, even with proper sleep hygiene for babies, back is best and no blankets, no loose things, no bumpers in the bed, like all of these things, even the best disaster can still strike.
That's right.
He needs to be educated on the harsh realities. And if it continues to happen after that, then yeah, you are a bad dad. You are neglectful. Sleep issues aside, you're continuously putting her in harm's way. There are parents out there with narcolepsy, and they do better than leaving their baby wrapped up in fucking blankets and propped with a bottle.
I think education is
twofold.
Yeah, it is.
It's definitely twofold here.
How'd I do?
I think you did really good.
Because you said, we'll see how you do on the next one.
Yeah. And one more thing, I do like how you said, where can she step in to help her sister? There is 3 of them. Obviously, she's not the parent, but
That's right.
is living there under their roof, not maybe paying rent or maybe paying a very little amount.
Right, but there's times where she's gone. But the answer really is that there's boundaries too here.
For sure.
And so she definitely has to go to her sister and have her sister decide on some of the courses to talk to her husband and let them work it out, because rather than saying, you have a problem, it's really, we have a problem. Can we find a way that we can make it work? Because I don't want to set you up for failure.
For sure. I'm just saying, it already sounds like she's taking shifts, watching the baby, when she gets done working until her sister gets home and stuff like that. But I think keeping up with that, if you can, and just helping where you can, especially given his stuff. But I do really, really think he needs a sleep study.
Yeah, and I think that is true, and I think he also needs to be a part of the solution to, if he knows he's going to have this behavior, recognize it and find another solution. So there's no one that feels anger about it, because, the fact that they brought their dad into it, that could be taken really kind of, let's just look, maybe the husband has a right to get his balls cut off, but maybe we should be a little more, give him a break first and find out before we really castrate the guy. Let's really try to do it in the right way, where we
really
don't
going ham.
Well, let's not humiliate him with father-in-law and all this other kind of stuff. Let's try to work as a family.
At the same time,
I get the seriousness, but that goes back to the conversation that the wife really needs to have with it, and together they need to recognize the issue and then try to solve the problem together, so that no one's denying the problem.
For sure. But at the same time, I don't think his ego should be as fragile when it comes to making sure your child is safe.
I didn't say that you have to make it fragile. I think that it's a conversation that immediately should be taking place, but you have to make him a part of the solution immediately as well.
Yeah.
And not challenge him and not degrading him but make him recognize, look, you can come to me and say, Dad, you're falling asleep at traffic lights. I go, something, Morgan, you're right. I got to do something about this.
Yeah.
Would you help me?
And I think having a private conversation with the sister first, like, hey, let me prepare with you some resources you can show him, some personal firsthand experiences of people that have maybe gone through something tragic from SIDS or whatever. Like,
it's out there.
It's out there.
It's definitely out there.
There's interviews and people saying, please avoid my mistake, or please watch out for this.
And there's documentaries.
And so maybe, helping your sister so she's prepared to have that conversation would be good. But it definitely does need to come from her. That's her partner.
That's right.
That's her place. But the hammer needs to be laid the fuck down. Control needs to be taken.
Well, and understanding.
Yeah, you're going to be kind and compassionate as you lay down the hammer, but it still needs to be dropped. Fuck.
Okay.
That's all I got for you.
Is that it?
So many good ones on Patreon. We do have one from this theme, one from our last theme, and a couple others.
Well, you told me we're going to have some good Patreons coming up.
They're going to be good.
So
I did tell you.
Join in. Come find us on Patreon, and let's grow the experience.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week. And when's our next group tea?
I believe it's going to be this Sunday.
Fantastic.
Or Monday.
Guys, chime in for group tea. That's when we get to know you and really get to have family conversations. So we'll see you then.
Bye.
Have a great week.